Hey everybody, so I decided to do a little Insta Live today. We have a snowstorm here and I can't get out, so I figured I'd work on this a little bit and just show you some stuff. I'm gonna try and answer questions as I go. I got my computer set up here on the side, so if you see anything that you are interested in finding out, let me know. This is a painting I'm working on currently for one of my decks, and it's the Three of Cups. So I've started it, but I have to get some work done in the vegetation area and just kind of see where it goes. I haven't decided on a lot of the colors, but I figured we can get working together. I am working with Daniel Smith watercolors, and brushes. I use a bunch of brushes. This one is Princeton. I kind of sometimes will chop them. If it doesn't work for me, I'll take a little scissor and kind of make my own brush. But for now, I'm just gonna try and get the background going and hope to, I don't think I'm gonna finish it, but we'll see how it goes. I hope everybody's doing well. I know a bunch of people are snowed in the US. I know Texas is not doing so good, and I'm in Jersey, so we just got this snowstorm. Hi Patrick, how are you? Hope you're not snowed in. So what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of do the sky area, and then kind of once this dries out, I'm working around. You never want to work on you don't want to saturate something, so unless you are doing it on purpose, but if you want things to look right, you have to be patient and let them dry out. So I'm just gonna kind of work my way around it. So this is the Three of Cups, and if you're familiar with tarot, then you will see different variations of this card. Usually it has three women that are celebrating. I just decided to have them be more playful. Patrick, snowed in, but not too crazy. Thank you. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, we had a bad snowstorm in last couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago, I believe. And we still had snow, but now I guess we're getting more. Hi, Crystal Moon. So you have to have some variation in the background. If the whole color is the same, then the spatial depth will not work. So you have to play around, maybe get this area darker and have this area lighter. That's going to give us a little bit of a play on the background. So what I will sometimes do is I'll take a plate to the side and just mix separately my colors to kind of, I don't want to get my my watercolors mixed up. So I'll just kind of blend them in on a side, and that'll give me a little bit more. So I'm going to darken this area of the blue. I feel like Bob Ross. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wanted wanted them to be a little bit more playful. I'm not using any of the symbolism, like I'm not putting the cups in all the cards or anything like that. So it's going to just be based on what the meaning is. I mean, if I really feel like I need it, then I will put it in. But otherwise, I'm not planning on doing that. So this is going to be her dress. And so I need to kind of work my way around it. If you hear background noise, my kids are online school right now, so they will pop in. Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, I'm trying to get it to be a little multi-dimensional. It's also going to be cropped, so you're not going to see a bunch of the trees. So, you know, you're going to have text at the bottom. But the idea is things that are closer to you are going to be darker, and then things that are in the background are going to be lighter in color. So I'm using this kind of angled brush because it just gives me a little bit of freedom to go around, and I don't have to swap brushes that much. Let's see how long I can be on here without being called to mommy duty. We'll see. You can hear the snowplower in the back. This deck I've been kind of taking my time with. I know people have been asking me when it's gonna come out, but it will. I always kind of tend to manage to finish them, but I'm not super rushed on it because I did 2 others in the past that I was rushed on, so I had to finish. Wow, that's really loud in the background. Sorry, guys. So now that I've kind of darkened this area, what I'm going to do is try and move into the greens. But I have to be I'm planning the way I'm going, because once I get down here, I need texture, kind of like what's going on here. So I will add like salt, and when I do that, I won't be able to work on this area. I have to put everything aside for it to dry. And for that reason, I'm going to just kind of deal with this portion further down. But I can like add some grass, I guess, texture, and then see how it looks. So I wanted to use some rice around this area, but I don't have white rice, and I can't go out to buy it. So I'm just gonna use the salt that I have. You can use a bunch of stuff. Like salt will give you this kind of texture that you see here, but rice is gonna give you like a lot more, like a wider, it's gonna be pretty much the size of the rice grain, but it absorbs and creates different patterns. So I just figured I'll use whatever I have right now. So again, I'm just kind of darkening a little bit at the bottom, and then leaving this section for later. And then I'm gonna do this area, go back to the blues. If I make any mistakes, I can wait till, well, depending on the type of mistake that I make, I can either wipe it when I'm doing it, like get some water and kind of dab it off, or if it's something that is more of an issue, then I can just wait till it to be dry and either use gouache or even acrylic white. Shanti SP3 asks, does it have to be white rice? I use white rice. I have never, to be honest, I've never tried brown rice. White rice I've tried and it works. And I figured since it can absorb more, you could try it with brown, but the problem is, like, once I put it on, if it doesn't get the exact texture, I'd have to do some tests on the side and before I would put it down on the actual painting, because if it doesn't work, then it would kind of mess up my area. So this is wet on wet, right? We're using paint on already wet paper, so it'll kind of give you a more splotchy look. And sometimes I like to do that and then just go back and create detail out of that. So I'll show you, I'll let this dry a little and I'll show you how I go in this area. Right here is a pattern that I've created with salt. So what I'm going to do is just kind of, go in and pull out the leaves and pretty much use my imagination as I go along. There's no right or wrong about it, but I'm using a darker color to pull out. So wherever it's dark, it's shadow, right? So there's going to be like more leaves in the shadow. So that means that it's getting deeper. Anything that's lighter is going to be, I guess the light would be on it. So think of it like dark and light. So wherever there's like darker leaves, I'm going to go in and kind of create a pattern of darker leaves. So I'm just kind of faking it. I'm pulling out these crystal salt patterns and just and you're gonna have to go back and forth. So I'm just like doing this and then it's gonna go back. I have to go back and add more. I'd put some music in the background, but I know that Instagram is gonna delete it, so I'm not gonna try that. So you can kind of see them building. I'm gonna try and zoom in. Let's see if I can do this. There. So, like right in this section, I'm gonna go in and add these shapes of leaves. And I'm using a thin brush. This one's a silver white. But and this will help with creating dimension too. So wherever you see like there's a dark area here, I'm working with this particular paint, and then I would use, since I have the paint on my brush already, instead of, jumping to another section and changing the color, I'm going to use the same paint wherever I see it in the painting. That way it kind of saves me paint and time. So right now, if I want, I can actually, start making some little squiggly lines for branches, or at least give the illusion of a branch. And then I'm probably going to move to this section and add some of the color that I'm using over there. So whatever patterns you can create and use, there's lots of things that can be used. You can use, like I mentioned, rice, salt, even like a sponge, like those natural sponges. When you dab them, they'll create these interesting patterns. So you can definitely use that. So I'm going to move over here and just do the same thing. And I mean, you could be as precise as you want. You can probably, if you wanted to show a particular leaf, you can, do a maple leaf or something. But I'm not really going to be looking to that amount of detail, because this image is going to be shrunk down significantly. I mean, it's going to be about, size of a card, and all that detail is going to get lost if this was going to be not for the purpose of tarot, and I wanted to really, get into more detail. Then I look up some leaves and see, make sure that I'm, doing an oak leaf or a maple. And as I'm moving, it's starting to take shape, and this usually will take a couple of days depending on the amount of time I have, but you do have to let it sit, especially after you put in all the salt and textures and stuff. And I like to flip it upside down when it dries, meaning I don't look at it straight on, because then my eyes don't get used to it. So when I move it back into the position that it's supposed to be, I will see certain mistakes that I've made, that I want to rectify, things that I would not necessarily notice just by staring at it all the time. And this will be a companion for the Oracle of Echoes. And this deck will be called the Tarot of Echoes. And they should go well together. I mean, the Oracle is more free in terms of meaning, I guess. But it should work well. So there you have it. This would be the second portion of it. So I'm going to zoom out again, because I'm going to start working at the top. It's a back and forth process, guys. And there. Okay. So this is going to be cut off, probably this whole section. But I still need to have something there, because if I don't, when the card gets cut off, then it's going to create an issue. I'll move this to the side. You need to have all this extra art in case the card moves around. And if you eventually want to, if I decide to frame it, or actually give it away, then it should be finished. So finish as much as possible. Right now I'm just drawing the outline of the tree, and I'm using a darker brown. So wherever, like in this area, once I do the outline, I have to decide where the light of the tree hits and where the shadow will be. And that is kind of done based on how the lighting is on them. So if we imagine a spotlight at the top here, like the sun is coming down this way, then that'll give it, the top two branches would have to be colored. I mean, like with yellow. Zoom in a little, see if I can do it. There. I have my phone and my computer at the same time, but I can't really see the video of the phone. So it's an interesting process. All right, so now that I've done a little bit of an outline, I'm going to add some color to the branch. I'm going to start with the lightest color that I want. So think of it this way. Whatever color I'm using as the lightest of the branch, that will stay as sunlight. And then I'm working my way back and adding shadow once that dries. It's kind of like a base color. So this is not going to be a fully yellow branch or ochre branch, but it's going to just create a base. And I'm still using this angled brush. The detail I will start doing once all those steps are incorporated. I've seen, everybody has their own style of painting. Some people will focus on one area and finish that and then kind of grow out. I tend to kind of do it in steps. So I did them somewhat, they're not finished. Then I worked on the background and then kind of worked my way out. That kind of gives me a sense of the tone, the light and dark colors and how they're going. And so, this area is now a little drier. So I feel like I want some texture in the background here on this blue and on the top. So what I can do is saturate it with some water and this blue color, light blue. And then this is alcohol in here. I like to use it like a little bit. So what's going to happen is It's going to create like this blotchy pattern. Let's see if it'll do it. You see that? It just creates like this cloudy pattern, which once it's dry, I can go in and pull out, kind of like what I did with the branches. I'm not sure if you can see it that well, but here, I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully my phone will show. Let's see this area here. You can kind of start isolating light areas and create a cloud pattern. So then I'm going to do the same in this area. So I'm going to add more color here. Even though it's darker now, when I add the alcohol, it's going to lighten some area. So I'm okay with that. It's funny, when the pandemic hit, I had a little bit of alcohol in this bottle, and I didn't want to paint with it because I was afraid I would be left without cleaning supplies. So I wasn't using it so much for painting. But now I feel a little more comfortable. I can do that again, right? Different stories here, right? So I'm going to do that here. Kind of give that area. And I have to let this whole area dry now, because you can't paint over alcohol. You have to let it sit. Okay, so since I can't really work on those areas anymore, I can either go back here and see if it's still wet, or I can start working a little bit more on them. So it's always a back and forth. Maybe add some more dress details. Since the light is hitting this way, this area is going to have a little bit more light, and then shadows will be towards the back. Hi, Linda. Sorry, I'm going back through and scrolling through comments. This is the Tarot of Echoes. So I'm working on the companion for the Oracle of Echoes. And so far, I finished the majors, I finished swords, and started on cups. So this is the Three of Cups. And, my plan, this is my plan. My plan is to have this finished by the end of the year. Meaning the paintings are done. If I'm lucky. Because I really would have a big part of it done if I can finish the cups before summer. And, then just kind of working on the actual photos of the cards. I have to, photograph them, edit them. I don't do a lot of retouching. I guess the retouching that I do is I have like I make sure that it's legible and there's no, that it's clear and not off by too much. I like to match them with the paintings themselves. And, it takes a while, the editing, especially if you're trying to match to make them look exactly as the paintings. And then after I edit them, I can incorporate them in the template. So I'm just adding like some accents. Wherever there's like line, you can kind of see the pencil line. So I'm trying to isolate the pencil and kind of create with the brush stroke, the same thing that I had going with the pencil. And usually when it dries, the watercolor is going to be just a little bit lighter than the brush stroke itself. It really depends on the colors that you use, but since I can't work on this stuff, I'm just going to kind of try and work on them. And then I haven't decided what color dress she's going to have. That's why she's still in pencil form. What do you guys think? What color should I make this? I have no idea at this point. This is more of a teal. She's in yellow. Maybe. Vanessa, you ordered my Tarot of the Abyss. Thank you. I'm excited about that. I'm waiting for it just like you. But see, now it's getting so close to being out that it's almost here. So, and to think I started that deck in 2016? 16? I think, yeah. Pink or red? Okay. Pastel pink. Everybody's going for the pink, huh? Let's see, what do I have pink here? Let me see. I got some pinks. I also have this. I don't know if you guys know this. This is Fine Art watercolor. It is, it's a liquid watercolor. So, let's see. I'm gonna make sure I'm not sitting it on wet. Well, hold on. Let's see if I can put it here. Mauvey pink. Let's see what we have here. This is Indian red, but the Indian red is actually a very pinkish color. So let's see. Let me show you. I'll use this clean brush. This is kind of what it looks like when you dilute it. And I can mix it with this type of pink. So a hot pink. Because you kind of have to have, certain colors working together. So what do you guys think? Oh, I hear a mommy in the background. I hear somebody say the magic word. So these two colors. A color that contrasts with her hair. Well, let's see what this looks. If it doesn't look good, then I can always, I never panic. So let's start with the lightest color. So I'm gonna use this pink. And then go with it darker. So right now I'm just giving the whole dress a 1/over color. Here it's going to be a little darker. Purple. We got violet, purple. We can do a combo. Let's do a combo. Violet and purple. So this is her. And then this area is going to be darker. And then here. So that's our base color. Once that is done, green would work too. But it has a competing, who said green? Nola Hart too. Am I saying that right? Pastel green. So it would work. She'd look great in those colors. But we have a lot of green going on here on the sides. So you want something that's not going to blend in with this. You want her to pop out. But I like green. Green goes well with red hair. So let's try it. So that I got that. Here it's still, I don't know if you can kind of see, but it still has like water going. So I'm going to add a little bit of, let's see what this looks like. It's a darker pink. So we got the Indian red, which is kind of a purplish. And you have to think where the colors are darker. Shoulders are going to be darker because you have to think of things that are above the shoulders that would create a shadow. Her hair is above the shoulders, so there would be a shadow here and here. And also she could also have the shadow from the girl above her. So you're going to have this area where it's getting shadow. I'm going to use this. And let's see what it looks like. And use just a little thinner brush to kind of pull this color out. I like to do that sometimes. It gives like a watery effect when you pull the color from one area. So you can kind of see it starting to work. Now she is sitting down and her leg is close to the girl on her right, so there's going to be a shadow here. And when the dress kind of goes out, there's also a little shadow. What do you guys think? We're going to add some darker areas here too. Right now we're working wet on wet. The folds. And maybe kind of create the lines around here. Let's see. What other colors did you guys? Violet, purple, pink. Okay. Let's try adding some purple on this area here. Getting it more purple. Because as the dress kind of lifts, there's going to be variation in light and shadow. And also where her knees are, because there's a fold like that. So once this dries, then you can kind of go in and add more detail, right? And I'm kind of letting this give it some space. I'm going to go in here underneath her elbow. Those are the plows in the background. Lots of snow. Not looking forward to shoveling. I was supposed to take mail decks out today and I can't get out. There's no way. Not unless I'm going on a sled. So this area is going to be darker, but I don't want it to be as stiff, right? Because she's moving. So what I'm going to do is just kind of create more of a movement to it. The beauty of watercolor is you can create movement very fast, because just by getting the water to move with a color, that'll give it motion, so you can have a nice non-static image. And maybe work on her a little bit. Hi, Joe. Haven't seen you. I've seen you on Facebook a lot, but not in a while. I know some people from the Facebook tarot groups, and I can recognize some of their names. Let's see. So with her, we're going to use, even though the dress is teal, I'm still gonna add some darker color, just to have the shapes kind of pop through. And maybe also in the area here. There. At this point, I'm going to make my way down here and see if I can add, oh, actually, I'm going to finish with the branches first. So I like the color, but I want to add a little bit more. I'm going to add more of this ochre, yellowish color here. And see, this will be the lighter area. And then I'm going to go with darker after it's dry. So I'll let that dry. If I want to have it splash, like if I want to have some blending going on, I can just, so this is wet, I can go in and do that. And then just let it kind of do its own thing. And, you know, there is this rope that's above it, which I can go across. I can always just erase it after with a wet brush. That color, you go in and you kind of scrub it out. Or you can use that, what is that solution called, where you can just white out certain areas for watercolor and it'll be plain white. I don't use that a lot because it will make it super bright white. And I do like some color in the paper itself. I hear one of my children. It's not in class. They should be in class. Hopefully they finished. Thank you. Let's see. Do you plan to adorn the swing robe with flowers or something, or just let it be? Well, the card itself is going to be cut off. I'll show you where with a brush. So it's going to be like this. So imagine that this is the edge of the card, and then like this. Oops. So this is probably how much you will see from the actual painting of it. So you won't see this portion. I'm painting it because in case it shifts at the printer, then there'll be art at the top. But what's going to happen is I'm going to probably add more leaves on top of the branches and see how that looks. And, you know, if it needs some flowers, maybe I'll add some flowers. We'll have to kind of see how it goes. Let's add some green at the bottom. I'm going to kind of shift it forward this way and see how it goes with darker green at the bottom. Remember I said that at the bottom I'm going to use salt. So once I do that, I'm going to have to put this aside, or I'm going to like step on, you know, break it too much apart. So we're going to add this darker green. I'm kind of just dabbing it all around and doing this with some black and mixed with green. Darker is supposed to be closer, lighter is supposed to be, you know, more in the back. So now you can kind of see that it's kind of playing around. You have some light areas, some dark areas in the grass. At the end, once all the texture is done and the painting is fully dry, after I removed the salt, this is the second layer of salt that I've added, that I'm going to add. I already added one layer. Then I'm going to kind of pull little, you know, blades of grass at the end. So this is the salt I have. It's you know, sea salt crystals. It's a larger area, so I'm going to open it because it has one of those grinders. So let's see, maybe I'll add a little bit more, you know, darker in this area, because they are, you know, what's underneath. Think about it this way: they're swinging on the swing, and underneath is going to be shadow from them. Regardless if it's going to show up in the card or not, you know, maybe I'll decide to show the whole thing, but I have to be prepared. So what I'm going to do is, add some of this salt. What inspires you in your work? Kokislova. I can't pronounce your name. Sorry. Well, this is for tarot, so all the meanings are assigned. But I usually will do like brainstorming. Like I'll think like, what does each one mean? It means happiness or joy. Like what would bring happiness or joy? And then I'll kind of write things down. All right, so now I'm going to add some, get the lid off. I did the large chunks of salt, and now I'm going to go with the smaller chunks. So now I'm going to grind it and add the light, tiny salt textures, and that's going to create a pattern. And if I need more, I might need more of this big chunk salt, because the big chunks are kind of like what gives you the leaf idea. So yeah, I'll have a sketchbook and I'll sketch things out. Sometimes if I'm like going on a walk, I'll have an idea. I'll put it in my phone so I don't forget it, like a note. And then I'll sketch it out and see how, there's a bunch of stuff that never ends up in a painting, but some do. And that's it. There you go. So this is going to dry, and once this dries, I'll remove the salt and then go to the next step, which would be doing this, the more of the blades of grass. Adriana, okay. I can say Adriana. You're from Slovakia. I am from Romania. So, hello. Let's see. So that's it, guys and girls. Thank you for joining me and for hanging with me while I paint in this snowy day. I hope you enjoyed this little session. I'll try and finish it with you online. Maybe I'll log back in tonight and see if I can finish it. But yeah, that's it. See if I can. I wonder if I can save this. Be nice to save. Let's see. Okay.